everyone, today we're going to talk about 8 pros and cons of living in Paso Robles or anywhere here in the North County of San Luis Obispo, Atascadero, Templeton, Paso Robles, and surrounding wine country. I've lived here for 50 out of 51 of my years, so I would consider myself an expert on the topic, and I'm going to give it to you straight, although I do have to say most of these pros and cons I consider to be a pro. And when we get to the end of this video, I'm going to tell you my least favorite thing about living in Paso Robles Wine Country. So let's get going, and I'm going to introduce each topic in the form of a question, as if I'm one of you. Most of you watching this video are thinking about moving to this area, and you call us as realtors and ask us questions. So then I'm going to put on my glasses. As the serious, studious realtor that I am, I'm going to answer the questions. So question number 1 is about shopping. Do you have Gucci? Do you have Chanel in Paso Robles?
Nope, we have no Gucci, we have no Chanel. In Paso Robles, you're not going to find any of the name brand shopping like that. And even if you drive on down to San Luis Obispo, you're still not going to find that name brand type of shopping, and there's no mall. What Paso Robles does have is shops like Target, of course, and Kohl's and that type of shopping, but we also have some really cute little boutiques that offer stylish clothing, and they're fun to shop in. There just aren't very many. If you do drive down to San Luis Obispo, you're going to find more of those boutiques, and you could spend all day shopping in San Luis Obispo. But if you're somebody that loves to shop all day long and you want to go to a mall, you're probably going to need to head even farther down south, a couple more hours, to Santa Barbara, where you can shop those name brands to your heart desire and go to the mall.
Question 2, is there traffic in Paso Robles?
Yes, we do have traffic. Just a few years ago, I pulled up to Spring and 101, and there was one of those traffic lights there to get onto the freeway. You know, one of those that turns red when you have to stop before you get on the freeway. And I'm looking around thinking, am I still in Paso Robles? I mean, you have to stop to get on the freeway, and sometimes there's even 1 car or 2 cars in front of you, so I call that traffic. Most of our clients that move here from the city say we have no traffic, but compared to what I grew up with, I say that's traffic. Also, if you get anywhere outside of the city limits, and sometimes even on occasion in the city limits, you'll have to slow down for deer. There's deer everywhere, and they meander through the roads, so they can cause a little traffic backup too. And that leads me into our next topic.
Question 3, I hear some of the locals don't like the deer. How can the deer be a negative? They're so cute.
The short answer on deer is that if you're visiting here, you think deer are so cute. And they are. It's beautiful watching the deer meander around the pastures in the distance. But once you're a local, that's where you want to see the deer at a distance. You don't want deer up close. Deer up close means they're eating your garden, they're eating your orchards, and they're eating all of your landscape down to nubs, almost like goat level destruction. So you'll need to have some kind of a deterrent. You can go to any of the local nurseries and find deer-resistant landscaping for your front yard. In your backyard, you're either going to want tall deer fencing, or having a dog can be a great deterrent. And they do even make sprinklers that are motion activated to deter the deer. Just make sure to turn them off before you have your friends over.
Question 4, wine. Wine is just my question. Talk to me about wine.
Wine. Wine is definitely a pro for me, just like it is for most of you, because most of you watching this video are thinking about moving here. And how did you discover Paso? Through the wine. You discovered our amazing Paso wine, and you love the idea of a lifestyle that's a slower pace where you can go wine tasting nearby your own home. So for most of us, wine is a pro. But if you don't like wine and you don't love seeing the vineyards as you drive around our hills, then you're not going to love it here. The vineyards are everywhere. And we do also get wine tourists. The wine festival brings in 20,000 tourists, which almost doubles our population. So sometimes we do get a little bit of too much activity and no parking downtown when we have the wine festival. And then the last thing on the wine that can be a con is how much water the vineyards use. So the county has had to limit the amount of plantings for some properties in certain areas, and some people have experienced their residential wells going dry. The resolution is usually to drill a deeper well, and we keep ourselves very well educated on that topic. Hey, a pun. Ask us any of your questions. We're here for your questions about wells and anything real estate related. As far as the actual wine tasting, I only probably go out 5 or 6 times a year wine tasting, but I love that we can just head out the door and off to our favorite vineyards. And I love driving around, seeing the vineyards at all the different times of the year. It's just gorgeous.
Question 5, where's the beach? I've never seen a beach in Paso Robles.
The beach. So you may see this as a pro or a con. I see it as both. I wish the beach was closer, right out my back door, and it's a full 35 minutes to get over to the closest beaches from Paso. Cayucos and Cambria are the 2 closest. If you live in Atascadero, Morro Bay is about only 25 minutes. It is a gorgeous drive over to the beach. If you're coming from Paso, you're going to take Highway 46, and it's always stunning scenery on your way. So it takes the edge off of having to spend a whole hour in the car round trip to go enjoy the beach. I just took my dogs to the beach today, and it was a gorgeous drive, and we had a fantastic time. So I say it's a con that it takes 35 minutes to get to the beach, but it is a pro over some areas that it takes farther.
Question 6, everyone wants to know about the weather. Can you tell me a little bit about the weather in Paso Robles?
Okay, let's talk about the weather. Everybody wants to know about the weather. And if you've been coming here as a wine tourist, you might already know that we get all 4 seasons. So let's start with the summer. The summer can get hot. For 2 or 3 weeks out of the year, we usually see the temperature rise up to 100 and over during the day. But the good news is that our temperatures come down during the evening. So almost every evening it cools off, and even though it's too hot to bear standing in the sun in the middle of the day, by the time the evening rolls around, the breeze comes in, it cools off, and you're sitting outside enjoying a nice glass of Paso Robles wine. Then moving on to fall. Fall is a lot more moderate. We have warm days and cool evenings, but nothing over 100 and nothing freezing at night. So it's an enjoyable and beautiful time of year. Moving into winter time, it is cold here. It's colder here in the North County than it is over on the coastal zone. So once you come up those mountains and into the elevation of North County, Paso Robles, Atascadero, Templeton, all the surrounding areas, we're at an elevation of around 800, and we have the buffer of the coastal mountains, so our weather is not quite as moderate. But during fall and spring, it does feel a lot more moderate with warmer days and cooler evenings and all kinds of gorgeous colors, especially in the vineyards. I love seeing the burgundies and the oranges in the hills. So fall's a great time around here. Moving into winter, it does get cold here during the winter. It's cold days, usually sunny, some rain. We're usually happy for the rain. And it is cold at night. It can freeze on occasion. So if you are trying to grow succulents and that kind of thing, it can be frustrating that we get a few of those freezes, but it always warms up during the day. It's not freezing during the day. And it doesn't snow here. In 1989, it snowed here. For 2 days it snowed. Everything was shut down. None of us knew what to do. No school. The roads were closed, but it hasn't snowed here since 1989. And then last but not least is spring. Spring is a lot like fall, very moderate, warm days, cool evenings, and it's also the most beautiful time of year in the North County. The vineyards are just starting to bud out with bright greens, as well as the oak trees. There's flowers, there's streams. It's just a gorgeous time of year.
Question 7, does Paso Robles have an airport?
So yes, Paso Robles does have a little airport, but there's no airline service. So if you're lucky enough to have a private plane, then maybe Paso Robles Airport is the one for you. But if you're like most of the rest of us, we drive down to San Luis Obispo to the municipal airport there. And we do have a 6-minute episode on the Roda Team podcast that's all about the SLO municipal airport. But just to give you a little overview, From Paso Robles, it is going to be about 35 to 40 minute drive since the airport is located in the south side of San Luis Obispo. It is a very small airport. It's only a 1 hour check-in time. You can usually get away with even a little less. You run through security in like 10 minutes. There's 4 gates. There's 1 baggage claim. And there's only direct service to about 8 cities. But I love our airport. It's such an easy airport. You can pull right up, hop off. There's usually only a few cars dropping people off, and the parking lots are small and inexpensive. So really easy airport to get to, really easy to always find your bags at the 1 baggage claim, and not too far from any part of our county to drive to. And here's a little picture of what you might experience with your stairs being rolled up to your little plane to give you an idea of how small our airport is.
And question 8, are there any high-rises or large developments in the Paso Robles area?
So no, we do not have any high-rises. I don't know that we'll ever see high-rises in Paso Robles in my lifetime, and we don't have any big developments either. We hear about developments in larger cities that have a school, or they have shops, or a little kind of town center for the development, and there's nothing that large here. We do have a few HOAs that are gated that might have a clubhouse and a pool, that kind of thing, maybe even a little tiny community park, but we don't have any high-rise buildings, and we don't have any of the larger developments.
Okay, I promised you when we got to the end I would tell you my least favorite thing about living in this area, and it's the cold winters. I'm just a big baby. I love the warm summers and the moderate spring and fall. In the winter, it's just cold. It's cold during the day and it's colder at night. And occasionally we get a freeze, so we don't get snow. We don't have the fun of snow. There's no skiing. We just get a little freeze, so you can't grow avocados or citrus. And there's really nothing exciting about how cold it is. It's just cold, and I don't like it. If you're trying to grow succulents, you have to go outside on those freezing nights and throw a little blanket on them so that they can survive the evening. And yeah, I'm just whining, and not the good kind of whining. But that is the worst thing that I could come up with for living here. I did move away at one point, and I came right back. So I realized how wonderful it is. Paso Robles Wine Country living is truly the best. But everybody has to have something that's their least favorite thing about where they live, and that's mine. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. And if you are thinking of moving to the Paso Robles area and you'd like to learn about the neighborhoods, click the link below to watch our video about 5 top neighborhoods in Paso Robles. See you again soon. Bye.